Cut off the slack, you fucking moron!
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Screen Share, a movie podcast. My name is Adam Cook, and I'm joined here by...
Calder Amos Wood.
There he is.
I don't know why I said my last name.
I mean, I said Adam Cook, so I kind of just set you up for that. But I'm Calder. Nope, I'm Adam. That's Calder. And this is the podcast where we pick some movies and a theme for the month. Our first month, not really a theme. We're just kind of getting into it. But future months, there will be some sort of theme. We each pick some movies, force the other person to watch them.
Yeah.
And we talk about them. Last episode, we did John Wick.
The first one.
The first John Wick. Mm-hmm. Hence why I didn't say John Wick Chapter 2.
I just wanted to get it out there.
Yeah, just getting it clear. Mm-hmm. And this episode, so that was Calder's pick. Calder picked John Wick for his film. And this episode is my pick, and that's Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone.
Yeah, he picked a movie made for kids.
Okay. If Keanu Reeves isn't blasting people in the head with a gun, it's for children.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I picked this film because I like it.
Okay.
Not only is it the first film in a franchise that I like and care about a lot, but it's also one of my favorite of the franchise. So I thought
interesting. I feel like that might be a bit of a hot one.
Oh yeah, that's a bit of a hot take. Mm-hmm. Actually, I'd say that's probably a big hot take. It's my second favorite.
And your first is Goblet of Fire.
No, my first is Prisoner of Azkaban. But I really like the Philosopher's Stone a lot. Spoiler alert for my thoughts on the film. But
Sorcerers.
Well, yeah, actually, maybe I'll go with some fun facts about the film before we get started on what we thought and kind of plot details.
Okay.
So Warner Brothers bought the film rights in 1999. This film came out in 2001.
Can I guess for how much? Do you have the amount?
Yeah.
$150 million.
Bold. $1.65 million.
What?
Yeah.
Were they not high-selling books at that point?
No, they were like high-selling books. Otherwise, they wouldn't have made a movie about it.
I guess, yeah. That
but
would
just
make
like
sense.
in the time, people weren't really spending a lot of money on rights to movies. Like if this happened now, absolutely it would be.
And I guess it's not as
proof
because I was thinking like the Amazon Tolkien purchase thing.
Yeah,
that level, but it's not that level at all if you think about it in 2001 or whatever.
And like they were probably not even expecting this to like do as well as it did.
It's a pretty expensive movie though, right?
Yeah, the budget was $125 million.
Yeah, and it made like almost $1 billion though.
Yeah, upon initial release they made $974 million, and then with some re-releases they made $1 billion.
Yeah, but that's kind of cheating.
Yeah, but like Avatar did it, Endgame did it,
Hey,
all these movies are doing it.
That's cheating.
It is cheating. But yeah, $974 million upon initial release. That's pretty good, especially for the time. Like it's not like it like nowadays.
It's like a couple years after Titanic.
Yeah,
which is especially for like a unproven sort of children's book adaptation, because they're not like I'm saying children's book. They're not like obviously coloring.
No,
books.
they were
Everyone
like
knows
young
about
adult
the books.
teen novels.
Yeah, but like it's before Hunger Games. It's before like all that stuff.
Yeah.
So,
but like. I feel like movies didn't make close to $1 billion as much as they do now. Like now it feels like unless you make $1 billion, it's like that wasn't a big deal.
Yeah, it's like Thor: Love and Thunder flopped because it didn't make $1 billion.
Yeah,
it made like $750, which
is kind of
Taika's still eating off that,
which is weird because it's like nobody goes to the theater anymore. But it's like if we don't make $1 billion, it's a failure, and it's like all right, that's
pretty
weird.
Exciting. I love it.
Yeah. Now here's some fun facts. Mm-hmm. So Chris Columbus directed this film, and he directed also Chamber of Secrets, which was the next, and he was slated to direct all of them.
I think it's good that he didn't.
I'd be really interested to see what they'd look like if he did. I also think that like they probably wouldn't have been.
But I also don't like the sort of. I don't love the last guy who did them. What was the
David Yates?
Yeah. I don't love his movies very much. I think there's like a middle where it's very interesting.
Yeah, I think that like it Philosopher's Stone isn't my favorite Harry Potter film, but it is the one that I like wish the others were more like.
It's very like whimsical. It captures the magical world and it feels like fun.
Yeah, and
whereas
that's the problem with the
Yates
David
is
Yates
like
ones.
that's not a part of it at all.
Yeah.
Kind of. It's a lot of like it's basically just like if wands were guns kind of thing.
Exactly. Like you never hear anyone say a spell in the later films. It's just like yeah. Whereas like in this one, actually, fun fact, Harry never casts a spell in this movie.
Yeah, I was looking at that. I was like, it's just kind of Hermione, and then Ron kind of tries a couple times.
Ron does
Alohomora.
not Wingardium Leviosa on the troll, which is like a character moment because he was berating her about
not Leviosa.
Yeah, but like Harry doesn't cast a single spell, which I didn't even realize until I was like reading about the film after.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's kind of weird. So I wonder what his first spell that he casts in the whole series is.
Probably in the next one.
Yeah.
Something when he's fighting the snake, right? Or no, he doesn't need to cast a spell when he's fighting the snake.
Yeah, I genuinely don't don't know what his first spell would be. But it's definitely
Oh, wait.
Oh, you know what?
Doesn't
it might
he,
be
like-
Rick DeSempra against
The ant?
no, against frickin' Draco.
Oh,
because
when
they
they're
do
in
the
the
duel.
duel?
Yeah.
But what about the ant like inflating? Is that later?
That's in the third one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. For some reason, I thought you were talking about an animal ant. And I was like, is he talking about the big spider? Like, what is he? I don't know what he's talking about. But, yeah, so that was a bit surprising. But, like I said, Chris Columbus directed this. I would love to see what he would have done with the later ones. But he said that after... And he says he regrets not doing the rest. But he said after the second one, he was just, like, so exhausted from the stress and the pressure.
And they
which I
came
get.
out very quickly, too.
Oh,
'Cause
yeah,
it
I
was
think
kind
they
of
were,
wrapped up by, like...
Like
Did it even
2011
go into
or
the
2012.
Yeah. So it only took... They did
8 films in 10 years,
11
basically.
Yeah. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's insane.
Anyway.
But some directors that were slated to direct it at one point, or not slated, but considered,
Rumored and, yeah.
Steven Spielberg. They actually asked him first and
That
wanted
would have been
him.
really interesting.
Yeah.
It actually makes sense, too.
Yeah.
Huh.
Like he like my assumption is they see E.T. and they're like, that's very whimsical. We would love that for
Well,
Harry
like,
Potter.
all of his stuff is, like... It's really good at building a world.
Yeah.
And making it believable.
Yeah.
And he's also just, like, probably the greatest box office director of all time.
Yeah.
He's
And
made
at
the
that
most
point,
money
he
at the
hadn't
box
made the
office.
Big Friendly Giant yet, so like there wasn't any sort of
But that probably would have gotten rid of, like, his kind of strange early 2000s with Tom Cruise, where he does, like, War of the Worlds and Minority Report.
yeah.
And then he also starts working with another guy that... Because we're doing a Spielberg movie this month, which is kind of interesting.
Next episode, actually.
But, like, his first movie with the writer of West Side Story, which will be next week, that was in, like, 2007, I think. It was Munich.
Yeah.
So that probably doesn't happen if he does this.
Yeah.
Because I assume he'd do, like, 3.
Yeah.
He likes to sort of become the spearhead of the projects he does. Like,
Yeah.
it'd be easy for someone... Like George Lucas, he does the first Star Wars and then kind of passes it off to someone else. Spielberg is, like, a director.
Yeah.
But, like, he's done all the Indiana Joneses.
Yeah.
He's done...
And that's my assumption is he probably would have done it if it wasn't like we're gonna make 8 films.
Yeah.
Like, I think
Can
if it
I
was
say
like,
something? I feel like I just said a lot of nothing.
Maybe. Honestly, that's a lot of what some podcasts are. So.
Yeah.
But apparently, when they came to him, he considered it, but ultimately said no. But then he recommended that they hire M. Night Shyamalan.
Interesting.
Because apparently, at the time, he was up and coming.
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
So, and apparently, they asked M. Night Shyamalan, and he was like, no. Just like immediately was like,
Yeah, he's not, like, he's never really done an adaptation of something big.
No.
That I can recall.
He does almost all, like, kind of
Original
original stuff.
Yeah.
Honestly, Avatar, The Last Airbender is the only one he's really done, and that was, like, a nightmare.
I forgot
So, like,
about
maybe
that. I
it's
forget
a
that
good
that's him.
Maybe it's a good thing that he didn't do that. But actually, this is kind of like a later bit when I talk about, like, how the film was received. But there was one reviewer that said that the film would have been much better if it was directed by Tim Burton. And
I don't agree with that
think
at all.
so at all.
No.
Because he would have made... They probably thought Witches and Wizards, Tim Burton would have made it this, like,
whimsical,
twisted,
kind of
weird
thing.
world instead of, like, this, like, positive, like, endearing magic.
Yeah.
But I think it needs to be endearing. It can't really
Tim
be
Burton's
creepy.
Harry Potter would be, like, nightmare fuel.
Yeah.
Like, that'd be horrible. I wouldn't want that at all.
No.
Like, I like some of the Burton movies. I like the Batman ones.
Sure.
Beetlejuice. Edward Scissorhands. You can kind of... Yeah. But, like, Beetlejuice I love. The Batman movies I love. I don't want Harry Potter to look like that. This is, like, the perfect tone that they got with Christopher Columbus.
Oh, yeah. I
who's,
think...
like, kind of a strange person to
pick
because he's... Well, he's, like, perfect in a way, but also a little strange because he's very family movie before this. But, like... I don't know. I don't think I would have thought, like, this guy can build this sort of fantastical world. Because, like, you probably have this in your research. I'm probably stepping on something. But, like, he does Home Alone. Yeah. Which is, like, very grounded. A little fantastical, but, like...
Which he did before this, but then after this, he does, like, the Percy Jackson movies. Which I'm assuming they only hired him because they were
just
like...
the one.
Yeah. But I'm assuming they just got him because they were like...
You did this one.
You did the Harry Potter ones, and that was successful. But it doesn't work the same, you know? I think he has the exact kind of vibe that the first two movies needed, especially the first one.
Yeah. Yeah. I wonder if we should do Percy Jackson 1 month.
Maybe
whenever the show's coming out.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe when the show's coming out.
That could be a good, like, month. This is probably an off-pod topic, but, like, a month of, like, kind of failed movies that we wish were good.
Worked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That could be good.
Hashtag Uncharted.
Watch Indiana.
Yeah. Just one big thing is, I don't know why I said just one big thing. I think it's because you said just watch Indiana, and I was like, yeah, just one big thing. But one big thing that J.K. Rowling, rest in peace, insisted
Not
that...
dead.
Well, her character's dead. Insisted that the entire cast be British or Irish. And obviously this kind of like changed later. Like Gary Oldman comes in and like is a great casting for Sirius Black. And like there's
where's Gary Oldman from?
Oh, wait, is Gary Oldman?
I'm pretty sure he's British.
I thought Gary Oldman was American.
I don't know.
Maybe I'm wrong. I think I actually might be entirely wrong. But
I'll look it up. You go off.
American actors do come in later in the series, and even in this film, there's like a couple cameos of American actors. Apparently, Drew Barrymore is in this movie, and I have no idea where.
Where?
And apparently, So You Think You Can Dance or Dancing with the Stars. There's two dancers that are American that apparently had cameos as just like background characters.
Gary Oldman's from UK.
Okay, well then that's a stupid thing for me to say.
But he also plays like whatever the fuck he wants.
Yeah. But like American actors kind of come in later, but at least for the first ones they said no. And what that ended up happening, apparently Robin Williams really wanted to be Hagrid, like really bad.
Wow.
And he offered to do the role for free.
He worked with Christopher Columbus before.
Yeah.
Missed Doubtfire.
Yeah.
So I guess that like makes sense. I wonder how much that was considered.
They
and
probably
if it was just
really
like,
considered it was Robin Williams. And he said he'd do it for free.
But I think Hagrid's like perfectly cast.
Yeah, Robbie Coltrane is like...
I honestly think he could
that's
play
an
a better
actual
like...
rest in peace.
He could play a better... What's his name? Moody?
Mad-Eye Moody?
Mad-Eye Moody.
Robin Williams would do a great Mad-Eye Moody, actually.
Yeah.
But
I don't think he'd be a good Hagrid. Hagrid's a little more like daft than Robin. Well, Robin Williams a little too much.
Apparently Rosie O'Donnell also wanted to be Molly Weasley, and she also
That's the
offered
mom?
to do it. Yeah.
Okay.
And offered to do it for free, but they didn't. That's a less of a loss.
Yeah.
But like,
unless you're a big fan of actually, she's not in the Connors. I don't know.
Comics?
No, there's a show called The Connors based on whatever
you're thinking
show she
Roseanne.
was on. Yeah. Oh, is that a different person?
Yeah.
Oh.
Roseanne is played by Roseanne Barr.
Who the fuck's Rosie O'Donnell?
Rosie O'Donnell, like, I don't know, The Talk or some shit. I don't know.
The View?
The View, maybe.
With Whoopi?
I don't fucking know, man. She kind of, I don't know, man. I don't know what happened. All
You
I
know
know
who
about
discovered
Rosie
Whoopi?
O'Donnell is there was a joke about her in Deadpool.
You know who discovered Whoopi?
Who?
Steven. Spielberg.
Really?
Yeah, I think so.
Cool.
She was like an early role of hers was in The Color Purple, one of Spielberg's more forgotten.
I mostly
movies.
just know her from Star Trek.
She's in Star Trek?
Yeah, The Next Generation.
Whoopi?
Yeah, she plays Guinan.
That name means nothing to me.
But I feel like that's kind of a situation of like how Chris Farley was initially cast as Shrek, and you like watch. There's like the little reel, and it's like, oh, that would have been interesting. That would have been good. But also, I'm glad it was Mike Myers.
Yeah,
it's the same here, where it's like, man, I would be really interested to see a Robin Williams Hagrid, but Robbie Coltrane is so good.
R.I.P. for real though.
Actual R.I.P.
Yeah.
But like legitimately, I think Robbie Coltrane as Hagrid is not only one of my favorite castings and characters in this film, but like in the franchise. Like obviously he gets less and less of a role in the franchise, but he's just so good.
Yeah, and he's like such a sympathetic character and kind of sad too. I watched these with Hillary.
Yeah.
Randall. I don't know if we need to cover it.
No, it's fine.
But if use the Randall if you need to.
We'll use the Randall if you need to.
But she was like, "Oh, it's so sad. Like he can't read." And I was like, "What?" And she's like, "Yeah, he like can't read." And I was like, "Oh, I didn't even realize that."
Yeah, I noticed that. Like I was just kind of like laughed because I thought it was a funny joke. But on the most recent watching, when Harry's asking him about Voldemort,
yeah,
and it's like, I can't say it, and Harry's like, can you spell it, or like,
can you write it down?
And he's like, no, I can't spell it.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, he's like so honest about it. Like he has no shame.
Yeah.
In like who
Telling
he is.
People, yeah.
But he's like so honest and genuine. He like genuinely cares about Harry a lot, and like cares about all of these kids. I think, and this gets into, I'm fast forwarding a little bit, but like a lot of reviewers or critics at the time apparently really praised his character and his casting like as one of the highlights of the film.
Oh yeah,
which I completely understand.
Yeah.
Let me just kind of like blast through some.
Yeah,
of these
blast my ass here.
Through some of these other
hard
facts.
Oh,
Upon release, it was the
blown it
second
out.
highest grossing film of all time,
Oh wow,
which I was surprised by because now it's like 29th or something.
Yeah, it's low.
Yeah. And now here's getting to the fun bit. The film was called The Sorcerer's Stone in the U.S. because the book was called that in the U.S. And the reason the book was called The Sorcerer's Stone instead of The Philosopher's Stone was because Scholastic didn't think American audiences would be smart enough to understand what a philosopher is. And that they wouldn't buy the book because they don't know what a philosopher is. Which is just like, just assuming your audiences are stupid.
I thought it was something dumber. I thought it was
like a copyright thing.
I thought it was Sorcerer's Stone, but then they had to switch it because the Americans didn't like the witchcraft.
No.
Because that was a thing at the time.
Oh, yeah.
Where, like,
100%.
parents don't want the kids reading the witchcraft book, even though it's like,
yeah,
literally.
I thought it was some sort of copyrights or issues thing. It's like, no, they genuinely thought Americans are too dumb to know what a philosopher is. And because
But
of
I
that,
mean,
and that resulted in when they were like filming the movie, they had to do scenes where they mentioned the stone multiple times so that they could say philosophers and
like
sorcerers. And it's like, I'm just baffled that they would genuinely be like, no, Americans are dumb. Like, just make it. It's
good.
Yeah.
I think we need, or I need, a catchphrase.
Okay.
This is a separate topic.
For the podcast?
Yeah,
or just
for
in
the
general?
pod.
Okay.
And maybe in general, too. Maybe that would make me more, like, endearing to people. But I need a catchphrase.
Okay.
Something, like, short, but, like, cutting. And I'll work on it throughout the episodes, but I'll say...
Oh, you don't have an idea right now?
No. I'm just letting you know, because
thought...
what I'm going to do is I'm going to say something and be like, just testing a catchphrase. And then maybe you give me, like, a rating out of 10.
Okay.
That's it.
That's it. I'd probably give like a 3 out of 10. Wait, but you didn't say that's a catchphrase.
Yeah,
okay.
I was just telling you.
Sorry,
I
my bad,
completed.
Okay, so...
Just testing out a catchphrase.
0 out of 10.
Okay.
Now I kind of want to get into like the critic reaction.
Of course.
Because I wasn't really sure about this because I was 2 when this movie came out.
Flex.
No big deal. Roger Ebert.
Love Raj.
You love Raj.
I do.
You're not even on a first name basis. You're on a nickname basis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I listened to this podcast, another side note, called Siskel and Ebert.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was on like the Big Picture podcast feed. Pretty good. He's an interesting guy.
Oh, yeah.
They're interesting guys.
Well, I was like concerned that like he would say
like
something
it?
bad, but apparently he gave it 4 stars and said that it's a classic. So
Yeah.
that's good. Because I agree with
Was
that.
it like a re-review after, or was it like came out?
I think that's
at
the
the
time
time?
he said that. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I'm pretty sure it was at the time.
I'd assume it was at the time.
And some of the things that were praised by critics in general were the Quidditch scene, which Roger Ebert apparently was like, the Quidditch scene is so good and the VFX are so good. And it is very good.
You look at it now, a lot
Some
of
of
the
it
stuff's
has
a
aged a little
jank.
bit,
Yeah.
but like overall,
There's a fair amount of jank with like the 3D models of people.
yeah, there's one scene where like I think it's a Slytherin girl tries to like stop the quaffle from going in the ring, and it goes in anyway, and she like turns around and does like a little arm like darn it movement. It's like so obvious it's a 3D model.
Yeah, and there's the scene at the end where he's like looking around at everyone and they're like going around him, and it's just people like 3D models going like this on their brooms.
Yeah,
Like,
and then the 3D models of Fred and George like hit their bats together.
Yeah.
It's like that's not how people move. But yeah, I'm sure at the time it was like insane. I don't remember it being bad when I first watched it.
No, because you fill it in with your like when you're a kid, you're like,
Oh yeah.
oh, this is real. This is real life, and I'm going there when I'm older.
Yeah, and at the time it was also not bad.
No.
Like but yeah, the Quidditch scene, the set
It's like-
design.
This is gonna be a hot take.
Okay.
It's like a notch below current Marvel VFX, which is kind of
Yeah.
rough. Like the She-Hulk
good
VFX.
for this movie.
The She-Hulk VFX. Maybe the textures are a little nicer on her, but like
Remember that moment in the Philosopher's Stone where She-Hulk misses a quaffle from going in the ring and she does a little darn it?
remember when she's walking across the screen and it looks like a PS1 game? Ugh.
Yeah. But yeah, the Quidditch scene, set design, obviously. Like the entire
yeah, of
castle
course.
looks excellent.
Yeah.
The cast. I don't know if there's a miscast in this movie. I was talking to Olivia Randall, and like we were talking about how maybe the closest thing to a miscast in this movie might be Professor Quirrell.
Which one's Professor Quirrell?
He's the one that ends up having Voldemort on the back of his
Yeah,
head.
I didn't love him. I think he did like a pretty good performance, but I was like,
I think the performance was fine. I just don't think they did enough.
I think
with
it's just
him.
like how the villain's written more than
Yeah.
the actor.
Well, the thing is, it's like, this is going to be your defense against the dark arts teacher. We don't see him in a single class with Quirrell.
Yeah.
We see him in one scene where he's holding, like, a giant lizard. But we, like, don't really see
That doesn't
him.
mean anything. Like, that's not defense against the dark arts. We're not, like, scared of him.
No.
Or, like, we don't understand what he can do.
It's
So when Harry meets him in the basement looking in the mirror, you're like,
okay.
why am I worried?
Well, yeah, because, like, it's supposed to be a big twist. But it's not like we're like, what? It's Quirrell? It's like, oh, it's the other professor.
It's not Snape.
Yeah. It's not Snape is the twist. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, like, honestly, this franchise does a lot of twists where it's like, oh, it's Snape, or it's not Snape.
Hey, you got to keep going back to the well.
Yeah. Yeah. So those were some good things. Some of the criticisms were, and this is a quote, that the lead actors were charisma free.
Yeah, I don't think most 10-year-olds have a ton of charisma.
And I think that considering they were 10, and considering this was a time when, like, child actors weren't as good, like, I think child actors have gotten a lot better.
It's creepy, though. It's kind of creepy how good they've gotten. But
Yeah. But, like, they were pretty good.
Yeah, they're fine.
Yeah. Especially, honestly, like, I think this changes. Like, obviously, I think Emma Watson is the best of the main three as far as being an actor. Then probably Daniel Radcliffe. Then probably Rupert Grint. But I think in this movie, I honestly think Rupert Grint is the best one. Like, his character is, like, so endearing and like nice. I think Emma Watson is slightly overacting because she's probably a kid who was like, "Oh, I'm really excited."
Yeah, like you kind of dislike Emma Watson,
and I think you're supposed
like
to
Hermione.
a little bit
Yeah,
in this one.
But I think it's a little more than you normally would because she's like doing it a little more than she should. But like she's 10
We're gonna
years
get
old.
ourselves killed or worse, expelled.
Yeah, and you're like, ugh.
She needs to sort out her priorities.
Yeah, I think I would agree actually that Rupert Grint's good. I think Harry's like kind of
Daniel
like he's
Radcliffe's
fine, but
yeah.
like
He gets better, I think.
Yeah.
But which is on the Rupert Grint thing, like I was trying to look at like awards that this movie got. It got some like Academy Award nominations and stuff, but
like VFX or something.
And like score and like stuff.
Oh
like
yeah, because it's a John Williams score.
Because it's a John Williams score, which I'll get to in a moment.
Okay.
Trust me, we'll get to in a moment. But Rupert Grint won a Satellite Award. Not really sure what that is, but he won a Satellite Award for Outstanding New Talent and a Young Artists Award for Most Promising Newcomer. But Daniel Radcliffe didn't win any awards like that. I think Emma Watson won like best young actress or something. But like Rupert Grint, clearly to me at the time was the clear standout of the three, which is a bit of a surprise to me.
Yeah, he doesn't really do much anymore, does he?
No, I think he did a Netflix show.
Oh yeah,
which I watched the first season of, and it was just like
it was not good.
It wasn't a bad show, but not a single character in the show was likable.
Yeah.
But he played a character who pretends to have cancer to like get.
Oh, what is? Yeah, I remember
job.
that. I didn't watch that.
It wasn't very good, but I know immediately after Philosopher's Stone, he did a movie that was called like Thunderpants or something. And it was about a young scientist, and he played a young scientist who made like pants that could harness the power of farts.
Jesus
which
Christ.
is kind of insane. It's like probably his agent kind of dropped the ball. And I think
I feel like all of their age. I'm sure Emma Watson doesn't want to like act anymore. I guess because she's not really in anything.
Things, but
like all their agents kind of dropped the ball
I
after.
don't think Daniel
Harry
Radcliffe's
Potter movies.
agent dropped the ball because I think Daniel Radcliffe has wanted to do like weird indie films, which he's done. He's really built up his like catalog of like that's a weird character. So
I guess, but like I don't know. None of the stuff that he's done has like really been great. And I guess if that's what he wants to do, like they all made so much money, they probably don't have to work ever again.
Yeah.
So just do whatever you want. But like you got to find good projects. There's a lot of Daniel Radcliffe movies that are just okay, but he's kind of coming out of it now.
Yeah, I think he's moving on. I think he's kind of doing the Robert Pattinson thing where it's like do a big thing, do a bunch of small things, then come back into big thing.
Yeah.
I think
like
Daniel
Lost
Radcliffe's
City,
like
he was in that.
Well,
it was decent. He was fine in it.
But I mean like that's not his new big thing is what I'm saying. I'm saying he might I feel like there's potential that he might do another big thing in the next like 5 years or so.
Yeah. And he's got the Weird Al movie, which you liked. I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah. But to get back to some of the criticisms, they criticized the lead actors for being charisma free, which is a very aggressive thing to say about children.
Well, they're like stupid little fucks. So.
Yeah. Some criticism was that it almost followed the dialogue like too closely to the books, and that it like kind of bogged it down.
But if they're changing shit from the books, people are going
to be mad.
Yeah, like that's. I always find that kind of dumb.
Yeah. Some people said the cinematography was boring, which like I get, but I kind of like it.
Yeah, it's like
it feels very intimate.
Yeah, and it captures the tone, which is like fun, light, airy, like childhood wonder kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like it can teleport you back into, and maybe it's because we've seen it, like I've seen this movie so many times.
Yeah.
Like maybe it's because we've seen it so many times throughout our lives that we like get teleported back into it, and these are people writing in 2001 who are 45 and maybe don't have kids or anything that have seen it yet or something.
Yeah.
But like the cinematography works to like put you back in the childhood wonder mindset.
Yeah. And something I noticed, which I didn't write down, so I'm glad I'm remembering it because it's something I really noticed, especially on the last watch, is like I think a lot of what makes the film feel so good and look so good to me is almost every shot feels like all of the lighting in the shot is natural lighting. Like it's all from torches or like hallways or like candles or the ceiling of the Great Hall. Like everything feels like natural lighting.
Yeah.
And it just like adds to the warmth of it because it doesn't feel like it's like it would not look this way if it was made today. No,
it would look like you could clearly tell they're on a green screen. And even the green screen stuff looks good. Like they light it well.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm glad that these were made back then. Because they like actually built things for them. They wouldn't build the sets.
Even look to like not Prisoner of Azkaban, Order of the Phoenix when they're in the castle. Like everything just seems very like one tone.
Yeah. It's
whereas
just like
in this
flat.
Movie,
there's no dimension.
Very like, okay, let's put the lights up to film this castle scene. Whereas this feels like, okay, where's the light coming from? Like, how is it casting on their face? There's like a lot of shadow work in this movie.
Yeah.
And I think that's very cool. Now here's the last bit of criticism that was lodged against this film that baffled me. There were multiple like high caliber reviewers and critics that said that John Williams' score was bad. Like really bad.
That's psychotic.
Let me read some quotes. Here's a quote from USA Today reviewer Claudia Pugh. She said that John Williams' score is ultimately she said ultimately many of the book's readers may wish for a more magical incarnation
of the score. When I was listening to it, I didn't realize it was John Williams like the first time or when I was watching it. Or ever, actually.
Yeah.
But I was listening to it, I was like, this is, like, really good.
Yeah. It's like the fact that he took a book and was like, this is the sound.
Yeah.
And it's, like, so perfect.
And this might be, like, a little bit of heresy.
But,
I feel like it's close to the Star Wars one.
Yeah.
I think Jaws is probably his best one.
Okay.
But it's close to Star Wars.
It's honestly like it's tough. That might be. I don't think it's a hot take, but it's a bold statement at least. Because I think that it's different. It's different because Star Wars is very much like very.
It's trying to be epic.
Majestic. Yeah, epic is the word I'm looking for. It's a very epic soundtrack. This is a lot more subtle and like toned down.
Yeah. But I think in terms of like working with the movie, it works.
It captures
really
the tone
well,
perfectly.
Yeah. So like other people were basically just shitting on our boy John.
Yeah, and then Hollywood Reporter reviewer, I'm just calling people out, Kirk Honeycutt
Ooh, bad name.
Yeah. When I wrote that down, I was like, Calder's going to hate the name Honeycutt. But he said, John Williams' score is a great clanging, banging music box that simply will not shut up.
Christ almighty.
I'm like, what track in this film is clanging and banging?
They're saying it like it's a Zimmer score in a Nolan movie.
Yeah. Then Slant Magazine's Ed Gonzalez said wished it was directed by Tim Burton, which I mentioned earlier.
Psychotic.
And said the cinematography was bland and muggy and that the whole film was a solidly dull celebration of dribbling goo.
Jesus.
Which is like, holy shit. Really? Like, I don't get it.
I kind of wish reviewers were more like that now.
Yeah.
Because now they're like, oh yeah, I really like the Marvel movie. But they're saying that so that they can go to the premiere next time.
Yeah. Or even if they don't like it, they're like, there were parts I didn't like, but I can see why someone
would
like
it. There was a really cool fight scene in the middle where they were doing stuff and they were on the bridge. And I like that a lot. 4.5 out of 5.
Yeah.
3 with the movies.
Like, how would you feel if you showed me your short film and I said it was a solidly dull celebration of dribbling goo?
I mean, I might agree with you, but I wouldn't feel good about it.
Yeah, you'd probably be like, that's not a friend.
Yeah.
You'd probably want me to say
well, I
that
don't think
in a
he's
nicer
trying to
way.
be a friend.
Oh, that's true. He's not.
Chris Columbus doesn't deserve friends.
I'm not going to
He made I Love You, Beth
agree
Cooper.
or disagree with that because I don't know him.
He made I Love You, Beth Cooper. You know that one?
Yeah. No.
Hayden Panettiere, some guy who looks like Justin Long.
All right, I'm gonna say just a quick a couple fun facts, and then we can get to your questions.
Okay.
The final scene was the first scene shot in the film. So when they're getting on the train and like he gets the book from Hagrid, that was the first scene, which is weird because that means like all of the context of the rest of the film they had to capture in that scene, which just makes me go immediately like, no, these child actors were not shit. Because like,
yeah, I think that's interesting. Like, that's weird.
Yeah,
that seems like
it seems like a bad decision.
Well, it just seems like why? Because if you're shooting the train stuff, at least shoot the stuff where like they're getting onto the train first, right?
Yeah.
But I guess they probably did so many rehearsals with the kids because like
they probably had talked to each other a decent amount already.
Well, like you have to have the kids hanging out with each other and getting to know the adults so they're comfortable with the adults. So like, it's probably not as weird sounding as we would think.
Which, like, on that note, like, a lot of the actors, but like specifically Daniel Radcliffe, has come out and been like, Chris Columbus was the perfect director for this film because somehow he managed to like wrangle together like dozens of kids at a time and like keep them all under control, but also get these performances out of them and like keep them entertained throughout the day. And there's a bunch of behind the scenes footage of just like all these kids being so rowdy, but like as soon as like they need to shoot, they all like get into the zone, which like I don't think many actors could have done, or directors could have done that. So like good for him.
I think that also sort of speaks to why they thought Spielberg first, because a lot of his movies have kids in them, and he's like notoriously good with kids on sets because like
that's a good point actually.
That's like one of the things that he's
well, maybe that's why they considered Chris Columbus, because Home Alone as well.
Yeah, he's got Home Alone, and like Adventures of Babysitting was another. Missed Outfire, as we mentioned.
Yeah.
But Home Alone 2, he did Home Alone 2, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like basically all the actors have been like, yeah, it was a great experience, and like a lot of the videos are really fun because they're just like a bunch of kids goofing around and like being annoying.
And you like to watch videos of kids.
So apparently J.K. Rowling almost played Lily Potter, Harry Potter's
the mom.
Yeah. Apparently they were like, you want to play this? And she was like, oh, I'm not very confident.
Good.
Like,
she'd probably do it today.
She would probably definitely do it today. Rest in peace. When Ron falls during the chess scene and his like night piece is struck, I always notice this in the film, how like he falls on the ground and then a piece of rock like bounces and hits him in the cheek and cuts his cheek. I was always like, that's a very like impressive thing to include because it makes it feel really real. It was.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he actually just got sliced in the cheek by a piece of rock.
Kind of on that note, Hillary was like, yeah, apparently Emma Watson like mouths some of the other guy's lines.
Oh yeah,
in some of the scenes.
I think specifically the scene where they're like asking Hagrid about Fluffy.
Okay.
And like Nicholas Flamel and all that. You can see Emma Watson just being like, it's just like she was. I mean, the thing is, to me,
it kind of fits with the character.
Pulls you out of it because you know that's Emma Watson.
If you're
but
watching
also it's like
the person in the background, right?
Sure, but like also that's very Hermione as well, so it just kind of works. Just a couple other things. Emma Watson was supposed to wear buck teeth, like insert teeth, because in the books she has buck teeth.
Like Freddie Mercury?
Yeah. But then, like, she was just, like, so uncomfortable. They're like,
of course.
Just take them out. And apparently Harry was supposed to wear green
cat
contacts.
Eyes.
Close, I guess. But he was supposed to wear green contacts. But he had an extreme allergic reaction. So they were just like, okay, you can have blue eyes, I guess.
I think that's fine.
Yeah, that's completely fine. Those are all my facts.
Not my Harry. He doesn't have green eyes.
Yeah.
Okay, so this isn't one of my questions, but what do we think about Dumbledore?
That I actually have, because for the first two films, he's played by Richard Harris, which apparently he turned down the role 3 times, and then his granddaughter said that if he turned down the role again, she would never talk to him again. So he took the role. But he played Dumbledore in the first 2, and then it switched to Michael Gambon because Richard Harris passed away. Yeah.
R.I.P.
Which, like, R.I.P. for real. But I wonder what it... I think it sounds weird to say because he actually died IRL, but I think it switched at a good time. Like, it's a weird thing to say, but like Richard Harris is like very gentle and like quiet and kind, whereas like Michael Gambon is a lot like he still kind of has that, but he's a lot more like
he's
clever.
A lot louder. He's a lot closer to like Gandalf.
Yeah, a little bit.
Than a sort of like sweet old man.
Yeah. So I think it switched at a good time. That's the other question, like what if Christopher Columbus directed all of them, and then what if Richard Harris was Dumbledore throughout all of them, are like my two big questions.
I mean, he's probably... I don't know what else Richard Harris has done, but I'd assume he has enough range to, like, yell.
Yeah.
But, like, he's not very... in this movie very much.
No.
And when he is, you're kind of like, okay.
Well, Dumbledore's not, like, really in any single movie, except for maybe... Half-Blood Prince. He's not in any single movie.
Secrets of Dumbledore?
We will not speak of those films.
Not even the first one?
The first one's fine. The third one is okay. Second one makes me want to blow my jaw off and then stick it into my eyes.
Let's go. Interesting.
But yeah, I think Richard Harris is very good in this. Like at the end when he's talking to Harry on his bed and he's like, your friends are very, very good people. I'm going to eat this earwax bean. It's like, he's such a nice guy.
Earwax.
Although, complete bullshit that last second he's like, Gryffindor wins because all these...
Oh, yeah, that was one of the things that I wrote down here. I was like, we need to audit the point system at Hogwarts because it happens a lot in
because I get that, like, Snape is kind of always like, 5 points from Gryffindor, 5 points from Gryffindor, 10 points to... Like, he's kind of bullshit. But, like... Dumbledore should have given those points. First of all, probably less points, probably.
Well, he gave them enough to win.
Yeah, but like he should have given those points before saying Slytherin has the most points. And then he goes, "Oh, but wait a second."
It's so cruel because everyone like imagine there being a school where they sort you into groups, but one of the groups everyone thinks is a piece of shit, and everyone related to them is a piece of shit.
Yeah,
and then they get fucking pissed on with the points. Every teacher thinks they fucking suck.
Well, when we were watching, Olivia was like, why is everyone cheering when Gryffindor wins?
Yeah.
When, like, just Slytherin was cheering when Slytherin had won.
Because
and I'm like, because everyone hates them.
Yeah.
And she took the house test. She's a Slytherin.
Yeah, of course she is.
Yeah, but... Randall. But, she, like...
A little late on that one.
Yeah, sorry, that was a delayed one.
You're the one editing it, so...
That's fine. But, yeah, everyone just hates Slytherin. And I feel kind of bad for Snape, because, like, he clearly doesn't have much empathy, but, like, he's, like, the only one that has any empathy at all for these kids. Yeah. And, like, not every Slytherin is bad, but every bad person is Slytherin is the whole thing.
Yeah.
But, like, yeah, I don't think it was dumb to give those students those points for those things.
Just do it before you announce Slytherin's won.
Yeah.
Because it's twisting the knife to do that.
Yeah, he's literally going, you guys got the most
points. And he's the headmaster.
But wait a second.
It's not like he's the Gryffindor guy. He's the headmaster.
Yeah.
And I guess he is a Gryffindor, so it's like your state university.
That's one thing I always didn't understand. It's like, there's a head of each house. Like, why would the head of each house not just be like, I'm going to kind of like slide my house some
that's why
we
need to audit the process.
Yeah. There should be like employees at Hogwarts whose sole purpose is to hand out points.
Get like the goblins who don't get into Gringotts. Get them auditing the points.
And then you've got these like weird hobbling like problem goblins.
Yeah, and they're just like,
Problems.
Is that a real 5 points or not? I don't know.
What are those accents?
I don't know, man.
Which I will say, I'm pretty sure, I'm not 100% sure on this, but the main goblin who goes, very well, does Mr. Potter have his key? Like, pretty sure that's Warwick Davis.
No, he's one of the teachers, isn't he?
Well, that's Warwick Davis, and then I think the goblin that actually opens the vault for them, also Warwick Davis, and then I think Professor Flitwick, also Warwick Davis.
So they just cast one dude?
Yeah, they just went, hey, can you play all of our short guys?
It's like Tim Burton's Oompa Loompas. Just
Yeah.
one guy, they just paste him everywhere.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But then, kind of just a real quick note on Flitwick. He looks different in this movie than he does in the rest of them. Like in this one, he has like big white beard and like this weird nose and like green hat. But then in, I think, Prisoner of Azkaban, he plays the like band conductor.
Oh, and he does look different.
And then they just went, what if we apparently Warwick Davis was like, he hated putting on the costume and prosthetics for Philosopher's Stone Flitwick because it was just so heavy and itchy and took so long. And then he put on the conductor outfit, and it was basically him putting on a wig and a suit and a mustache. So he was like, can this just be Flitwick now? And they were like, okay.
Makes sense.
And it's not like egregious to be like one of the teachers is the choir conductor. Like,
no,
it's not. Anyway, I just thought that was a fun fact.
Can we go to questions?
Absolutely, we can go to questions.
First question: best teacher at Hogwarts. Who are you picking?
Can I pick like teachers that aren't in every movie?
In this movie.
In this movie.
Yeah.
Okay. Because my answer would be Remus Lupin. I'm gonna say Professor Lupin. I think is my.
Is that who plays him?
He's the werewolf. In Prisoner of Azkaban. I forget the actor's name. But best professor in this film, probably McGonagall. She's just very like, it's weird when they first show her hand when she's about to welcome the students in, they play like this music and it's like, oh, it's creepy and weird, but then she's like so nice and kind.
Well, it's like first day of school, you're like worried.
Yeah.
I like Hooch,
Madam
Quidditch
Hooch.
teacher. Yeah, I like her.
She's not in any of the rest of them, really.
I know. She got a bit of a fire to her.
Yeah. I have a theory, I know this is probably not false, that she just got fired because she wasn't enough skilled of a witch to stop Neville from slamming into the castle on his
there's
broom.
no way she can just...
Well, she pulls out her wands and goes, Mr. Longbottom! And it's like, cast a spell.
Isn't Alohomora?
Alohomora? No, that's Open Locks, but...
What's the one that levitates the ogre?
Oh, Wingardium Leviosa.
Yeah.
But she could have
Just
done
do that
Petrificus
to him.
Totalis, which happens to him literally later by Hermione.
Oh,
make
yeah,
him freeze.
Yeah, that's good. It's like putting a gun in your first
Or
act.
Immobulus, which Hermione does in Chamber of Secrets to all the pixies
We don't know that one
to make
yet.
her
We
freeze.
don't know that one yet.
Or make him freeze, but yeah, maybe she doesn't know it yet. No, but it's Madam Hooch. She's a teacher. She should know that spell.
I also put Snape down because I think he's just like...
Oh, he's excellent.
Yeah, he's excellent. He's a good guy.
He's not the best teacher because he'd be a shit teacher because he's
Well,
kind
like,
of a drama queen.
Here's the thing with teachers that I've liked, though, in the past, is I kind of like it when they're kind of rude.
When they're a character.
Yeah. Like our high school math teacher.
Yeah.
Mr. T.
Mr. T.
We won't use full names. Mr. T.
Yeah.
He pitied a fool who didn't
He did
listen
pity
in
a
class,
fool.
Who didn't listen in class.
And I was a fool because I didn't
Listen
get
in
a good enough
class.
grade to get into his advanced math class.
Yeah, well, that's kind of on you. But like he was kind of hard.
Yeah. Well, he was
Interesting
just
way to
very,
describe a
very
teacher.
dry.
Yeah.
Like he had a very dry
And I like the
sense of
Snape
humor.
where he's like, "Oh, Potter, you know, you're fucking."
Well,
I like Snape.
Apparently, before they did any casting for this movie, they were like, "We got to get Alan Rickman as Snape." Like he was easily the pick.
And I'll save that for later.
But just one last note on Snape.
Mm-hmm.
He's like consistently one of the best castings throughout the series. He's so good.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And they kind of do a twist with him and with McGonagall.
Mm-hmm.
And they're both kind of the same twist because the twist with him is like they think he's the bad guy the whole time. Turns out he's not.
Mm-hmm.
And was actually trying to save Harry, which I always wish that there's like a scene where between him and Snape where he says, "I'm sorry for thinking you were bad." And then Snape's just like, "Well, you should be careful where you fucking throw your accusations, little bitch," or something like that.
I feel like that's also on purpose, though.
Yeah.
Like he's doing that so Harry doesn't know, right?
Yeah, and I think, like, for audiences, they also want you to be a little bit questioning of Snape throughout the series.
Mm-hmm.
And then the McGonagall twist is you thinking that she's, like, this evil kind of, like, I don't know, like, witch. Not evil. The evil's the wrong word, but
just like a hard nose.
Yeah, but then, and it's like, I think they did
got a
that
hard
so that
nose.
when Harry catches Neville's Remember All
Yeah.
in front of her window, you're like, oh, he's gonna get in trouble. But then she's like, oh, you're really good at the sport.
New seeker.
Yeah.
Actually, this next question is related to the sport. Is Quidditch a broken game?
Oh, absolutely.
It is insane, the rules. Imagine if in the NBA they just put like a little toonie on the floor and whoever held the toonie for like 14 seconds wins the game.
Yeah.
It's stupid.
Well, to be fair, I'm pretty sure in the books there is record of a team catching the snitch but not winning because it awards you 50 points and ends the game.
I thought it was 150.
Sorry, 150
Yeah.
points. So if the other team
Scores 150 or like
Scores
200
100
points and you just catch the snitch, you lose.
yeah.
I
Which
mean,
like
guess.
but this is where it's broken, then they just wouldn't catch the snitch.
Yeah.
Because they'd be like, "Oh, if I catch it right now, we're going to lose, so I won't catch it."
So let's just keep going.
Yeah. But I'm pretty sure in the books there's a record of like a 3-week game.
I like
lasted
that,
for
kind of like
3
cricket.
weeks. Which was maybe that where it was like we could catch the snitch right now, but like we're going to lose. So let's just neither team catches the snitch because they think they're going to lose.
Yeah. It's like
It's certainly a broken game, but it's really fun to watch.
yeah, it is. Favorite non-four cast, like non-big four. So I'm talking Draco, Harry, Hermione, Ron.
Interesting
you can't
that you
pick
include
them.
Draco. Which, by the way, Draco apparently auditioned for Ron and Harry and Ron.
He wouldn't be good either.
And apparently he dyed his hair dyed his hair
both.
black for Harry. Got a no. He dyed his hair ginger for Ron. Got a no. Bleached his hair. Went in for Malfoy and got it.
I like that.
Which is that's commitment. But he's very good. But like if you not including them, best casting. I mean, we
of the
mentioned
kids,
Robbie.
of the kids.
Oh, of the kids.
Yeah.
Okay, because I was gonna say Robbie Coltrane.
I like the little Irish kid. I don't know what his name is.
Seamus Finnegan.
Sure.
The one that keeps blowing shit
Yeah.
up. Yeah.
I like him. Obviously Neville
Neville's great.
and Wood.
Oliver Wood. Oliver Wood,
Wood.
kind of underrated because like he's like a D-list character.
Yeah.
But he's like I really like the scene where he's teaching Harry because he's like, "Wow, Potter, you'd be quite a good beater."
I feel
It's
like
that's a horrible accent, but
this is bad because we get him later in like Goblet of Fire, and I like him in Goblet of Fire. But that's like a good Robert Pattinson part.
yeah,
Like Oliver Wood, the actor, even kind of looks like Robert Pattinson a little bit.
he's got a bigger forehead.
Yeah, but that character's not in any of the other Harry Potters.
Yeah, he is.
Is he?
He shows up later. He's definitely in Chamber of Secrets, but he's like I think Chamber of Secrets is his like final year as a student
Okay.
because he's an older student.
Because I guess I meant like he doesn't have a major role in the movies at all.
Yeah.
So I don't know. So who's yours?
Susan Bones. No, I'm joking.
Which one's that?
She just gets called up for the Sorting Hat,
Oh,
so
okay.
that Ron can tell Harry that.
Sorting Hat question. What's the order? Not alphabetical
No.
for sure.
I think she's
Just
just got a
random?
list, and I'm pretty sure that no one else can hear the Sorting Hat except the person wearing the hat until he says the house.
That would make sense. Yeah. I also do
Which,
like the detail of the hat not even getting onto Draco's
Draco.
head. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
kid.
he's just like so Slytherin.
So you like Susan Bones?
And him being like, "Oh, you're a fucking Weasley? I don't know. Go to Gryffindor with the rest of your family." It's like, all right. No, I don't like. I mean, I don't dislike Susan Bones. She's
I
just
think
like
you
a
hate her.
nothing character. I guess in this movie specifically, I guess I'll probably just go Neville. He's
Okay,
good.
That's a good one.
Yeah, Neville's good.
So Harry kind of doesn't really do a damn thing during the Quidditch game
He just
until
watches it.
until like the snitch flies past his head.
Yeah.
Is he that good, or is that what seekers are supposed to do? Are you supposed to just kind of hang out until you see the snitch?
I mean, I don't think it's a bad strategy to like just sit in a spot and like keep your eye out, but he wasn't keeping his eye out.
No. Like, can he get involved in the game? Do you know the rules of Quidditch, like, at all?
Not really, but like
Okay.
I don't think he can like
Help them score points.
like touch the quaffle.
Okay.
Or like, although I'm pretty sure the rules are pretty loose because like the other Marcus Flint of Slytherin House takes one of his fellow beaters' bats and freaking basically kills Oliver Wood. It's like, he should be suspended. And then he also bashes someone else into the rafters.
Yeah, it's good.
She goes through like 6 floors.
Yeah, all hitting 2x4s all the way down.
Yeah, it's like, he should definitely be suspended, and also that's completely against the rules for sure.
But it's like, you know, yeah, you can fix glasses, you can fix a broken arm. You can fix a broken arm.
You can fake a broken back. Fuck. But yeah, the rules of Quidditch are very... I think Harry is a very good seeker, but I don't think he's, like, good at Quidditch yet in this movie. Like, I think he just doesn't know what to do until it flies in front of his face. He's like, I guess I should catch that.
Related question, what does it taste like, you think, the snitch? Like,
Probably
do you think
metal.
it just tastes like metal, or
Probably
like...
just tastes like metal.
I feel like it could be like one of those things where they make Switch cartridges taste bad.
But they probably make it taste good.
I was thinking they make it taste bad, because you don't want that in someone's mouth.
No, it definitely just tastes like metal because they don't think you're going to put it in your mouth.
Yeah, but like it could be a little Easter egg.
Let's pretend that it tastes like strawberries.
Okay. It could also taste like
like
earwax.
Oh, something I just alas, earwax. But something that I just thought of, like, he's not doing anything in the Quidditch match. He's just kind of watching. So like he's scared to like mess up, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But then also he makes the bold move of standing on his broom instead of just like keeping going and putting a hand out.
It's kind of like sliding in baseball, where you're like, sometimes that'll work, but like it's not gonna get you there faster.
Yeah. And also, sorry, I'm jumping all over the place. Okay. I also just realized that in Prisoner of Azkaban, Harry like uses a spell on Snape in the Shrieking Shack, and then Hermione's like, Harry, you attacked a teacher. She lights Snape on fire in this movie.
Shrieking Shack, name of my bedroom. Name of my bedroom.
Any other questions? Do you have any other
what's your animal? Ron's got the rat, Harry's got the owl?
Yeah.
Everyone has an owl?
Not everyone has an owl.
Okay. Harry's got the owl.
Ron has a rat. Hermione, not in this film, but in the next film, has a cat, and then Harry has an owl. But
what's your animal?
We were watching, and when they were talking about getting a pet, they show a shot of a bat, and Olivia Randall was immediately like, I would totally have a bat, because that would be cool.
Yeah, because she's a Slytherin.
Oh, and Neville has a toad.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
What animal would
Well,
I
actually,
have?
we should do each other's. What animal do you think I'm getting? Because you don't pick your own animal.
Yeah,
right?
you can just buy it.
No, Hagrid picks his. Ron doesn't like his.
Yeah,
so
but I'm pretty sure Hermione buys her cat. I'm pretty sure Neville buys his toad.
Well, I'm picking yours, and you're picking mine.
Okay, that's fine. You would probably... a ferret. I'm pretty sure they can have a ferret. I feel like that's a cool animal.
Oh, yeah, I guess it has to be like a small little ant. I feel like you're like...
What are you going to say, a fucking
I
elephant?
was going to say like an armadillo.
That's not bad. I feel like an armadillo.
Yeah,
there's
but
a magical animal. I forget what it's called.
They're not native to the UK. It'd probably die pretty quick.
There's an armadillo-like creature that is in the Harry Potter universe. I forget what it's called though.
I don't know. Probably your left nut. Got him. What would you see in the mirror? What do you think?
I was thinking about that. I think I would probably see myself. This is gonna sound so weird. This is obviously got deep because it's your deepest desire. I think it would probably be me, like, doing something that, like, I love doing and making a living doing it.
Interesting.
But, like, it also telling me what that is because I don't know what that is.
So not spending time with your lover?
Well, no, she'd be there.
Just, like, watching you in the background? That's nice.
Well, the thing is, because it doesn't tell you your future, so I don't think it would tell me what the thing is. It would just show me being happy doing something. Which is
so your
kind of
deepest desire is to be happy?
But, like, happy doing something specifically. Like, finding what it is that makes me happy, you know?
Yeah, because the pod right now is kind of hellish, the environment.
No, I like this. If I could make a living doing this, fuck it.
Fuck it?
Fuck it. It being my fucking life.
Wow.
That was an aggressive
That was an
wheeze.
all-timer. That was an all-time wheeze by you.
All-time wheeze.
Wow. What's my mirror showing me? Probably mean a bunch of little kids that
Like
are
with
mine.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Wowzers.
Having some kids.
Just like surrounded by
being
your
with
children.
My Randall.
Your Randall.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
That's
I think
probably
so.
what it is.
And I never understood until like the most recent watch. This is why rewatching movies is great. You get a new thing every time. But like, you get a new. I sound like a fucking dad. You get a new time every time you watch a movie.
See you at the movies.
But like I'd never watched the movie and really understood what Dumbledore was saying about like people go insane in front of this mirror. But like this time I was like,
I get it.
Yeah, if you're looking in a mirror and you see like your deepest desire, why would you not just want to? You just become obsessed with looking, especially with Harry.
Yeah.
He's never met his parents. He sees his parents in here. That's probably the first time he's really seeing their faces, aside from like
he's
maybe
seeing
a
them
picture.
move, right? Like they're animated.
Yeah.
They're like real people.
That's as close as he'll ever have until like later when he sees like their ghosts or whatever.
Yeah, but like,
whatever. But like that's the closest he will almost ever get to see like being with his parents. But like that's not his parents.
Yeah.
At all.
Yeah.
Like even though they're looking at him and smiling at him, they're not there.
It's like WandaVision.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Which like luckily for Ron as well, he just looks in and he's like, "Whoa, I'm head boy. Cool." And he's like, "That's pretty cool, Harry." And then he just leaves. Whereas Harry's like, "Those are my parents." And he just gets like sad. So like, yeah, I actually understood the danger of the mirror for the first time.
And then I've got a quick yes or no one before we get to our final question.
Okay.
Do the centaurs ever come back?
I think in Prisoner of Azkaban.
We interrupt this broadcast to let you know that I meant Order of the Phoenix. All right, back to the show.
They like, there's like, it's like a D plot where in the forest the centaurs are at war with the Ministry of Magic. I think over like land or over rights or something. But when they take umbrage into they're like saying they're gonna take umbrage to Dumbledore, I think, or to like the seat.
Yeah.
They like trick her into seeing Hagrid's half brother, who's in there. But then the centaurs are there, and Umbridge like wraps rope around using a spell, wraps rope around a centaur's neck, kills him, and then the centaurs are like, "We're gonna take you."
Okay.
And they kidnap her, which like the first time I watched that I was like, yeah, kidnap her, she sucks, because she sucks. But then I learned later, apparently I don't know if this is Harry Potter universe or like Greek mythology.
I'm not sure if I'm gonna like what you're gonna say.
But centaurs apparently are like known for like kidnapping and raping people. So I hope that's not.
That's probably canon, knowing J.K.
That's true. Knowing J.K. Rowling, rest in peace.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably what happened.
And last, what's Adam Driver playing?
I was thinking about this. I feel like the easy gut answer is Snape, but I don't think that's it. For me, at least.
No, I think you're right on that. Do you want... No, not open it up to the whole franchise.
Just in this movie?
Just this movie. Harry's uncle?
Uncle Vernon?
Yeah.
Ugh, no.
Put on some weight?
Oh, I do quickly want to touch... We didn't really touch on the Dursleys at all.
No.
This kind of goes back into us saying that like every
his
role
name's
is...
Dudley Dursley?
Yeah, Dudley Dursley, Vernon Dursley, and Petunia Dursley.
Oof.
Yeah, Dudley Dursley is a rough one. And then later when Harry gets kidnapped by people in the later movies and they ask his name, he says his name's Vernon Dudley, which is kind of funny.
Interesting.
Yeah. But like that kind of goes back to the like everyone was perfectly cast in this film. All three of them are so good. Like I hate Petunia and Vernon.
Yeah.
Like I don't hate
suck.
Dudley because it's very clear that like he's that way because of his parents, you know. And he gets better a little bit, but
yeah, there's the one, what is it, Order of the Phoenix, where Harry saves him or something, and they're nice to each other for like 15 minutes.
Well, no, he saves him, and then Dudley still blames Harry.
Oh, okay.
But there's a deleted scene in the in 7 Part 1 where Dudley like goes up to Harry because they have to leave so that they're not in danger from Voldemort's army, blah, blah, blah. Where Dudley goes up and he's like, "I'm sorry for how I treated you."
Nice.
Like, okay. But,
sounds hot.
Yeah.
You know, I know we talked about how perfectly cast he is, but what are we thinking about Hagrid?
For Adam Driver?
Dumbledore? He's not old enough, obviously, but like...
You know what? I'm gonna go with a wacky one here.
Mm-hmm.
What?
I was just thinking. I thought of one.
I think I'm gonna go with Professor Quirrell.
Yeah, that's what I was just gonna say.
Yeah.
I remembered that he was in the movie.
Where like
I should be talking more into this, huh?
No, it's fine. I thought of that for a moment, and then I was like, I don't know about that.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I think I just didn't consider it because like they don't look the same or they don't look the part. But
Yeah.
like, I think Adam Driver would kill that role.
Yeah.
Because he'd be like charismatic but like awkward for the Quirrell bits, but I think he would do really well with the like explaining his plan thing.
Mm. Yeah, I think he, obviously JK didn't want him in it.
And he was probably about the age of the
How old
kids.
is he
at the
now? He's
time.
like late 30s.
He was late 30s when this came out?
No, he's late 30s now.
Yeah, so was Daniel Radcliffe.
I wasn't debating you. I was just trying to figure it out.
Oh, I thought you were saying like, because I was saying he was the age of the kids at the time.
Yeah, I was just like thinking out loud.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
sorry. But yeah, honestly, I'd say Quirrell. I do think he'd probably do a good Snape, but like, it's impossible to do better than Alan Rickman.
Yeah, I honestly don't even think he does that. Because you also have to think he's probably doing an accent, right? Because everyone else is British. It'd be weird to have an American teacher.
Yeah.
So I think Quirrell would work.
Yeah, I think Quirrell's probably the answer.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that we've agreed on
both
both
of them?
movies so
well,
far.
the first one's easy.
The first one's easy, yeah.
Yeah, you kind of want him to be John.
Yeah, and he'd be a great John Wick.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert if you haven't listened to the last episode. Is that all your questions?
Yeah, that's all my questions. Do you have
I kind of
any?
want to, because I was just looking at my facts. I kind of want to quickly look at my notes, see if there's
Before we
anything
get
that I
into
missed.
the argument,
What argument?
the rank.
Oh, yeah, that's going to be rough.
Second one.
Oh, Harry talking to the snake at the beginning.
Yeah.
It's just like a really good insight into his character that he
Is
doesn't
kind
really
to it.
talk the whole time, but he talks to the snake like he's a person.
Yeah.
And it's like probably like it just shows how isolated he is.
Mm-hmm. And how like kind of a character he is, even though the environment that he's in is like absolute dog shit.
Yeah. It's like the snake is also in a dog shit environment. That
Yeah.
like the fact that Harry says that he's like, "Oh, you were bred in captivity, that's me as well."
Yeah.
It's like, "Oh, that's so sad, man."
Yeah.
But like he has that empathy to be like, "Oh, I see the situation you're in. I understand that situation."
I think I was like talking about this with Hillary when we rewatched it
Yeah.
like a couple months ago. I was like, it's so like horrible what's happening to this young man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like actually a bad situation. Like at the beginning when McGonagall's like, "These are like the worst muggles I've ever seen. I've been watching them. We should not do this." And Dumbledore's like, "They're the only family he has." It's like, then send him somewhere else.
Yeah,
I don't know what
just
to tell
find
you.
someone else. Give him to Hagrid.
Yeah. Which speaking of Hagrid, like I was thinking when he first like shows up, if it was anyone besides Hagrid except maybe Dumbledore, I think Harry like truly considers not going with them to Hogwarts.
Yeah.
Cuz like
If it's McGonagall,
like maybe he goes.
Maybe.
Those are like the only
no, I don't
maybe.
think he goes if it's McGonagall. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I know. I'm saying like there's like a 25% chance he goes with McGonagall, maybe 50 with Dumbledore, 100 with Hagrid. 'Cause,
Yeah.
like, but like, and I think that's probably why Dumbledore sent Hagrid to do that. But like, some guy shows up at this cabin door in the middle
Busts
of
it
nowhere,
down.
busts it down, and goes, "You are a wizard. You have magic. Your parents are magic.
Yeah.
Come with me."
Uh-huh.
I just turned your
Give him a little tail.
cousin's butt into a pigtail.
Mhm.
Like you probably go, "I'm frightened. I'm not."
Yeah. I mean, I'd go with
I feel
at
well,
that age. I'd go with anyone.
Sure. And it's so sad when he draws himself a birthday cake in the dirt. Good grief. But it's so sad. But like, I think Hagrid's the perfect person to do that. Because like, I don't know. Imagine if they sent Flitwick. Like Flitwick's not a bad guy. He's a very nice
Yeah,
guy.
he's
but they
not-
send
he's
him,
not
he's
getting
like,
that
"Come
kid."
with me." You're a
Well,
wizard.
that's too creepy. Like Hagrid, you could see being a normal guy.
Well, and just because he's so kind and understanding, he got him a cake.
Can
and
I
spelt it wrong?
What? So their safe house is a lighthouse in the middle of the ocean?
I think Vernon literally just found as isolated a place as he could.
I watched it and I was like, how are you finding this place in 2001?
Yeah.
You can't find a place like that now, 2022, with the internet.
Yeah.
How are they getting that?
I don't know.
No Airbnb, for sure.
Well, that's just kind of part of the camp of it, I guess. It's just like,
Yeah, I
wow, they
guess.
found this place.
Imagine Tim Burton doing that.
But like
though.
my thing too is like I know they don't understand the extent of the magical world,
Yeah.
but like they're like the fact that not only is Vernon like, oh, these letters have been showing up at my door for weeks now. We're gonna go to this place and they're definitely not gonna find us.
Burning a lot of wax into that fireplace as well with all those wax seals.
Oh, yeah.
That's messing something up.
But not only that, but he also thinks they just won't send them letters on Sunday. It's like, you think they're gonna stop?
They're devilish. They're hellish.
Yeah.
Because they're wizards, magic.
And it's like, you're not receiving these just like in the mail.
Yeah, it's not a dude delivering them. It's 95. It's a fleet of owls.
Yeah, and they've been showing up for like an entire week, and you think they're just not going to on
Yeah.
Sunday.
I mean, he's
Ridiculous.
stupid.
And also, we got to quickly talk about Harry's letter grabbing strategy. Pick one up off the floor. Why are you trying to catch one?
Yeah, I saw that. It's like he's in the little like money tube thing, and he's not doing the thing where you're trying to catch it with your shirt, which is
Yeah.
like obviously the one that you should be doing.
Yeah.
He's like trying to like pick him out of the
Yeah.
air. But he kind of does pick it out of the air when he gets the key.
Oh, yeah.
So
True.
maybe he's just confident in his abilities.
Which, like, also every time he gets his first letter, every time I watch this movie, I'm like, just put the letter in your
Yeah, just
cubby
don't
under the
tell them.
stairs and
Don't
give them-
tell them.
Yeah, why would you tell them? Your entire life
You
they've
know
sucked.
they're pieces of shit.
Yeah.
You're living under the stairs, my man.
Yeah. Okay, let's see if I've got any other good notes. Oh yeah, Draco is just the son of a conservative family who's parroting everything his parents say. It's like he's like, red hair and a hand-me-down robe. You must be a Weasley. It's like,
But is he wrong?
I mean, he's not wrong, but like, yikes, you know. Oh yeah, one of my favorite shots of the film.
Okay.
On the first night at Hogwarts, just Harry sitting by the window, looking out the window at like the moon. There's no dialogue. It's just him looking out and like has a slight smile, and it's just playing the like. We're gonna get copyright strike, but like,
Are we?
No,
On Spotify?
no, but like, it's just like so beautiful. Nothing needs to be said in that scene. It's just like he finally feels at home. He finally feels of like belonging. It just like I love that shot so much. I really like when Ron's broom smacks his face and Harry laughs and he's like, "Shut up, Harry!" And it's like, oh, they're actually really good friends now. I just really like that.
Yeah, because if you smack me in the face with a broom,
I'll laugh.
we'd be tussling. Yep, I'd drop them. I'd drop my gloves.
Yeah. And last note that I have, I consider this movie a Christmas movie.
I get that.
Because, like,
I don't
the last
agree.
half of it is, like...
I don't agree.
I know you don't agree, and I know it's not.
Yeah.
But, like... I just...
There's a whimsy to it that's very Christmassy. Isn't there one of them that's a little more Christmassy, though?
No, they... basically all of, like, the first 4 or 5 have a Christmas bit.
Okay.
But, like, when I get the... exact, if not just a very similar feeling, like during Christmas time as I do with this entire movie.
It's a winter movie.
Yeah.
I think it's a winter movie. I don't think it's a Christmas movie.
I just love the Christmas bits. Like, "Happy Christmas, Harry. Happy Christmas, Ron. What are you wearing?" "Oh, my mum made it." "Come on, open your presents." "I've got presents." "Yeah." Like, that's... Sorry, I love quoting these films.
Yeah, he does.
But,
Yeah, choke.
like, that's such a sweet moment. Like, Ron, like, got presents. Like, his family's pretty poor, But like he got presents from like his mom, like made him a sweater, blah blah blah.
She better.
She's like, and he's seen that Harry's loaded because he pulled out a bunch of gold coins for some snacks on the train. So when Harry's like, I have presents, it's like, yeah,
that was one of my notes.
Okay,
Harry's part of the bourgeoisie. He's a 1%er. We shouldn't be sympathetic to him.
There are some moments throughout the movies where I'm like, Harry, just give the Weasleys some money. Which I'm pretty sure in the books there's a moment where he offers them money and they're like, no.
They're not going to take it, obviously.
No.
But, like, Harry's like a nepotism kid.
Yeah. What one of my favorite like book moments is...
Have you read the books?
Some of them. But there's a moment when I think it's for Christmas, Molly Weasley gives Ron a brand new watch and then gives Harry like an old hand-me-down watch that was like passed down throughout multiple generations of their family. And she's like, I'm so sorry, Harry, like we only have so much money, I wasn't able to like get you something really expensive. But he's like, he loves it because that's exactly what Ron wants. Ron doesn't want hand-me-downs anymore. Like he wants something brand new for himself. So that's perfect. And then Harry wants to feel like he belongs in a family, belongs somewhere. It's like, it's so, that captures them perfectly. I feel like I've just been jumping all over the place talking about Harry Potter.
We got to rank them.
Yeah, let's rank them.
John Wick's better than this movie. In terms of pure, like, filmmaking, I think John Wick's a better movie.
Here's the thing. I was with you until you said that. Like, I do think John Wick might be a better movie, but I think that Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone is a better film.
I don't agree with that at all.
Which is like a very like uppity thing to say.
Yeah, a little bit.
But I don't know. I just feel like the Philosopher's Stone like captures a feeling and an essence that like I don't think any other movie I've ever seen has captured. Like John Wick, we talked about it last episode. Like it does a lot of things that a lot of other action movies don't do, and it does them very well. And it's like it captures a world very well as well.
I think what we need to figure out is, are we doing this based on quality of film or how good we feel it is? And I think we need to do it on quality of, because if it's how we feel, we're going to disagree on most of them.
That's true.
And it's nostalgia, which is kind of the thing you were identifying there, where you're like, this movie gives me this feeling. Whereas like I get that feeling as well from this movie. I really enjoy this movie.
Yeah.
It's like watching like Home Alone or like Christmas Vacation or something like that for me, where you're like, you love the feeling of watching it, but they're not better movies than...
Can I say
some
something
other
for
things.
a second?
Yeah, I think so.
I have mentioned that I like Prisoner of Azkaban better than Philosopher's Stone.
Oh, is it coming?
I would not put Prisoner of Azkaban above John Wick, but I would put Philosopher's Stone above John Wick. Just because I think it does something very special, and like there's not a single miscast, there's not a single like scene that I feel is like bringing the movie down. And the only negative that I have is maybe that it's quite long.
Yeah,
it's like 2.5 hours,
but it doesn't
also
feel that long.
It doesn't feel that long because it feels like it's...
I think there's another thing to consider is the degree of difficulty, and I'm not saying this in favor of John Wick.
Sure.
Whereas, like, I actually think Harry Potter is a harder movie to get right. Because there's a lot of movies that are sort of like John Wick. They just don't have the choreography.
Yeah.
And I do think there are parts of John Wick that are kind of, like, not as good.
Yeah.
Like, once we get past the nightclub, I think the movie's not as good. Like when you're doing the church stuff, when you're doing the safe house stuff, and then it gets okay at the end, the final fight.
But like the third act in general is a bit
it's like second half of the movie is like it doesn't reach the highs that the first act does.
Yeah.
Or the first half does. So I might have just like made your case for you.
Yeah. Well, because like I kind of said this is a bit before, but this is a bit more broad. Mm-hmm. I think Philosopher's Stone is the only Harry Potter movie I would put above John Wick.
Yeah.
Just because of what it is, mm-hmm. and the result of it. Like it had so much potential to fail in so many aspects, and it didn't. Mm-hmm. You could say the same about John Wick, but like John Wick was much lower risk.
John Wick could come and go, and no one would really notice. It could be Den of Thieves. You love Den of Thieves.
Never seen it.
Yeah, I didn't make you watch that when we were living together.
This is tough because I'm not 100% against putting John Wick above, but it doesn't feel right.
Yeah. Yeah, it feels like there's something off about putting Harry Potter above it. But in my argument,
like
I was making
tighter movie.
John Wick?
Yeah.
I think so, because it's like hour 40, clean, tight, you know what it is, and it's like kind of satisfying every time. Whereas Harry Potter, the Philosopher's Stone is like, it's longer. There's some stuff where you're like, okay, I'm watching kids. Do I really want to be watching kids? I don't know. But then I made the argument literally against John Wick that I really agree with, where it's like that Harry Potter could have been such a big failure.
Yeah.
But you can watch it, like it's a great movie.
Yeah.
So honestly, I'm fine with putting Harry Potter first for now.
Okay.
We'll see how long that stands.
I'm not gonna like go this like strong for all of my movies. I want to make that clear.
Yeah, I know. I mean, we have to figure it out either way, though. So we're gonna have to.
Yeah. If you're willing to concede this one,
we don't need to do a deal.
Okay.
Because I know the next one, next week, West Side Story. That could top the list.
I'm interested to see what you actually think.
Maybe it should. If we're doing quality. Because honestly, talking about this, I think Harry Potter might be slightly better than John Wick in terms of quality.
Okay.
Which is why I'm okay with putting it above. Because it's difficult to pull off, and also it doesn't drag in the second half.
I genuinely don't know what you think about the West Side Story movie, so
I like it a lot, but I know there's some problems.
But I'm nervous to get into that debate. But all right, so we could say officially Philosopher's Stone above John Wick. Mm-hmm. I'd say so slightly.
Yeah, like I think they're very close.
This is the kind of thing where like they're very different movies, but I'd say they're of pretty equal quality. What I'm nervous about is that there's going to be a movie that comes along where it's like, I feel like that's better than Philosopher's Stone, but not better than John Wick.
Mm-hmm. We'll see.
But like that's the fun of making one list for every movie we ever see. So, all right, I guess I'll end this off. Thank you for listening to this episode, the Philosopher's Stone episode of Screen Share, a movie podcast. My name is Adam Cook.
Calder.
As of right now, the list is Philosopher's Stone number 1, John Wick number 2.
We shouldn't set that as a precedent.
What, saying the list every time? Once we get to
10, that's too many.
Oh yeah, we're not going to say it every time. Okay. We'll just say like what they're between.
Yeah, okay.
And what maybe what the number is.
Yeah.
So Philosopher's Stone is at number 1. Next week we will be watching and talking about
West Side Story.
West Side Story 2021. Yeah. 2021 West Side Story by Steven Spielberg.
I think it's the better one of the two.
I haven't seen the other one, so I went into this genuinely not knowing a single thing about West Side Story.
What do you mean?
Like
we'll talk about this. We'll
talk about it next episode, but genuinely we are coming at it from very different angles, so I'm excited to talk about it.
I'm excited. I like West Side Story.
All right, thank you everybody for listening. We appreciate you, and we'll see you next time. Or you'll listen to us next time.
Yikes.
Bye.